So what I wanted to do was, oh, I'm on a wobble. I'm always on a wobble with this. I don't understand it. Never mind. Was create a small photo wallet that would fit on the 6x6 page. So that was my starting point. Now I've sort of scribbled it out on paper, but I haven't really had a go at it. So it's a bit of a learning, everybody learning at the same time. So I've worked out some measurements. So I'm going to cut a piece of card at 5.5 inches wide. So 5.5 inches wide, because then it will fit with a little border either side. And I want it 9.5 inches in length. So if you're doing a 6x6 album, a lot of the really useful dies are bigger. So I've sort of thought I've got to have a go at doing this on my own. So it's 5.5 by 9.5. And now I'm going to score it at 4 inches and 8 1/8. So I'm just giving myself that extra 1/8 of an inch to ensure that I get a nice fold over without it bowing. Nearly cut it, nearly did it. Good morning, Donna. Good morning. Oh, I can see someone is watching. And I'm going to fold along those lines. So I can see, there we go. And I'm just going to fold that. And then I'm going to give those a really good burnish. So you'll see that this will fit on your 6x6 page quite neatly. Okay. So I'm going to curve these corners. That is optional, but I'm a bit of a curvy corner girl. Like that. And like that. A good dose of food poisoning reduces the curvy bits of it. I believe I lost 4 pounds. Not a diet I would recommend though. Okay. So that's the basics of what you're going to do. So the first thing I'm going to do is cut my piece of paper and stick it on for here. And I'll explain why in a minute. So my papers are going to be 5.25 by 3 3/4. So I'm going to have a look through my scraps and see what I've got in my scraps. I don't think I've got anything that's going to fit the bill. No. So, why is it you've never got a scrap that's the size you want? So I'm going to have to cut into a piece of paper. So let me get my 6x6 pad out. I had 2 minutes ago. Here we go. Okay. Not well organised this morning. So I want a piece for the front cover. So I'm going to save those because they're for my front cover. So for this piece here, I haven't got a lot left, as you can see. I'm going to check the page it's going on because I don't want to mush it up with that. I think that will be fine. Okay. So I want a piece that is 5.25 by 3 3/4. Put my, oh, to be organised. Oh, to be organised. Put it away again. I didn't. I put it down somewhere. Okay. If Ah, I've put it on the floor. There we go. Right, make some space. So it needs to be 5 3/4 this way. Sorry, 5 1/4 this way. So I'm going to cut it at 5 1/4. Just checking, yep. And then I want 3 3/4. 3 3/4. Good morning, Stella. I hope you're well this morning. And then I'm also going to cut a piece at 1 1/8. 1 1/8. Like so. Okay. Next time I say, where's my measuring thing? Someone tell me it's on the floor. So that's going to go onto there. And I need to do this first. So I'm going to go around my edges like so. And stick that onto there. Okay. Now the reason I want to stick this on first is I'm going to have a go at creating a curve for this to fit in. So I'm going to lay this down like this. And I'm just going to draw a little line. Rub it out afterwards, but a little line there. I'm then going to get my curved slot dies. Okay, so if you haven't seen these before, it's a set of 4. And I'm going to make sure I got it the right way. Yeah, I'm going to lay this on here so that it is just, so here's my line here, so that I'm laying the sort of the roundy bits under the line, and the line is level with the beginning of the straight. If I take this down, I can perhaps lift it up a little bit so that you can see what I mean. Okay. Now what I haven't checked is that it's a halfway. So hopefully, oh, it's going to go out of focus if I'm not careful. You can see that my line is there, and so this is just either side of that. And then I just want to check that I've done, yes, that is right. And then I'm going to run this through my die cutting machine. So I'll just run that through. Okay, now I'm going to take it out very carefully, because what I want to do is preserve this bit for later. So I'm just going to very carefully lift that out and put it to one side. Okay, so now that should go under there and hold it in place. Okay, that's why I needed to do that bit first. So I cut this piece at the same time. So I'm going to round these corners, and I'm going to stick this piece on here like so. First of all, go round it. Okay, so I'm just going to go round and stick that onto there like that. Oh, I'm all gunked up again. Ooh. Okay. This is the problem with this. It's on the go so much that it just gunks up. So that's going to go on there like that. Don't put this on before you've done all of this and checked, because you know you don't want to move this by trying to put it underneath. So I've checked it fits under there absolutely fine. Okay, so now the next thing I want to do is this one. So the measurements for the paper are going to be the same again. So I'm looking at my papers. I'm not going to get it out of, no, I'm not, am I? Okay. I'm going to take these because I've got 2 of these, 3 of these actually. Okay, so make some space, Sarah. So I want another one at 5 1/4 wide. 5 1/4 wide by 3 3/4. 3 3/4. Now, can I get another 3 3/4 out of this? Yes, I can. Look at that. I can get another 3 3/4 out of this. Okay, so that's both of those done. So what I'm going to do with these is put some photo slots in. So again, I'm going to go back to my dies, and this time I'm going to use my rounded photo slot corners. Now, if I was doing this for an order or as something special, I would be centering it, but you don't want to see me spending hours centering things. So I'm just going to, and I'm going to go through both of them because it is only paper, so it will go through both of them. Find this, make sure that's still straight, and I'm going to run that through both of them. Okay, so let's put the photo corners in, like so. And then I'm going to get the mat for that. That's away. And I'm going to cut this out of cream card. So, and these I am only going to cut one at a time. So I'm just going to pop that on there, put that in there, okay, and run that through. I'll do the other one in a minute. I do find these really difficult because it's got a nice stitch edge. I do find them difficult to get out of the die. There we go. So I'm going to take one of these and put these in. And then I'm going to do this one. So always double check everything fits and that this is straight. And then we're going to go around the edge. All the way around, across the middle. And then I'm going to pop that on to there, like so. Now, when I turn it this way, can you see, you can see the underside of that paper I've just stuck down. So this is where this comes back in. What I'm going to do is get my very fine nozzle and I'm just going to run some glue around here like so, and I'm going to pop that back into place. Now be careful, let me find my smaller ended one. You want to lift up that flap and just get your multi-purpose tool underneath, because what you don't want is to glue it to the flap, but what you do want is to end up with something that doesn't show the paper from the other side. Okay, so now you've got that back into place. It's not quite in place there. Okay, again, you'll have more time to fiddle than I have. So I'm just going to use my round ended one. Just put that back into place there. Okay, might just need a little tad of glue more. Let's see. So now you've still got your flap. Just needs a little bit of coaxing. Get this underneath here again. It's just that little edge that's a bit awkward. So you've still got your flap. So that will still go under there like that. But you can't see the under edge of that page. So I'm now going to do this one. So I need to cut myself another one of those. There it is. So I'm just going to run this through really quickly. Like so. Now I find when I do photo mats that is a lovely place to put your rub-ons, and I use my rub-ons a lot for that. Okay. So I'm going to pop that into there. And into there, and into there, and into there. Just going to straighten it up, make sure it fits. Happy with that. Nearly forgot. Go around the edges. Just go around the edges. And we'll put some glue on the back. How's everyone else's craft room looking? Mine is just a mess. My craft table, well, can't really. my little working space to demo to you is just getting smaller and smaller and smaller each time I do something. So I'm now in a space about that big because everything else is all around the edges. Oh, too much glue on there. And then the final thing I need is a piece to go on there. Now I'm wondering, because do you think it would look very odd if it was sideways? Do you know what? I don't think it would. So I'm going to cut a piece. Just about got enough room for my trimmer. I'm going to cut myself a piece of 5 1/4. How do people keep their craft rooms tidy? I just don't know. I just don't know how people keep their craft space and their craft rooms tidy. Mine is just a constant mess of trying to find enough space by 1 1/8. I'm constantly losing things. 1 1/8, that's what I'm looking for. Stop talking, Sarah, and do it. Because I just never have enough space. And it's ridiculous. I used to have a little tiny table in a corner of a room. And then it sort of expanded to a bigger table, still in a corner of a room. Then it went to one of these things, which is what this is, that pulls out and it's got all drawers inside, but still in a corner of a room. Then I get a whole craft room and still it's not big enough. Oh, Lord. Right. So that's going to go there. And actually, it doesn't look too far upside down around the wrong way, does it? So let me do that. So by using the CoolKatz curved slot dies and their photo slot dies, I have managed to create a little photo wallet that will go on a 6x6 page. Do you know? Yes, Donna, organised chaos, but sometimes it's not even organised chaos. It's just, yeah. Yeah. Something's new and still in the box. Do you know, Stella, I absolutely agree. I have to admit, I'm very good at getting stuff out of the box. I'm so excited when new craft stuff comes. I get it out of the box, then I don't know what to do with it, and then it sort of piles up in piles everywhere while I try and work out what to do with the new stuff. I get new stuff and I get really excited and I want to start working with the new stuff. So I've got things going on. So yes. Yeah, organised chaos. Yeah, you're not the only one, Vicky. You're really not. Yeah. And Julian, I'm the same. I've given up. I do try. I bought a whole load of 12 by 12 plastic boxes and I put all my Graphic 45 papers in their sets in there. And I labelled them all up. I bought a label maker. So proud of myself. What it did show me was that I've got way too much stuff, which wasn't particularly useful, but then I sort of knew that anyway. But because it was all just in a pile, it didn't seem to matter so much. But now I can actually see I've got too much stuff. But even so, it's all the bits. It's the bits you don't want to get rid of because you're a crafter, but you don't know what to do with. It's like when you've made a book and you've used grey board. What do you do with all the other bits of grey board? I end up throwing them away when I can no longer sort of reach the top of the pile anymore. I do have to sort of go through and throw them away. Sorry, that is a 6 1/4 by 6 1/4 with a 6 by 6 on the top. And I'm now going to put, I think I'm going to put it, you could put it straight, you could put it at a slightly jaunty angle. Don't forget, if you haven't got these dies, it's fine. Put a little magnet, put a little, sort of like a folio closure. It's just that I wanted to try it out with these dies. So, just going to stick this on at a slightly jaunty angle, just to look nice. There we go. Yeah, I absolutely agree, Vicky. You do end up throwing them away. You know, it's like my scraps of card. I keep the bigger scraps. I throw the smaller scraps away, but I keep the bigger scraps. And then I've never got the right size for what I want anyway. So I think, why did I bother keeping them? Yeah. Yeah. I have to admit, I spend most of my life looking for stuff. And it's usually under a pile of things. It's just, I think it's sort of part of being a crafter. I'm just going to put those dies to one side. In that you're always too busy looking for the next thing. And excited to start the next thing, that you forget that you actually got to tidy up occasionally. And I am actually by nature quite a tidy person. When I was sort of teaching in the classroom, I used to get my classroom really tidy. And I was always incredibly well organised. But I don't know, as a crafter, when the creative side of you gets going, yeah, it really does seem that we are all the same. A good idea for the leftover grey board. Make protective sleeves for my books. Yeah. Fortunate with colour card, because I basically only use blue and black and cream. So I order that in bulk. But I've never got the right size piece of scrap, as you saw with that. Never got the right size piece of scrap. Okay, so this is the book, almost complete, almost complete. Got the finishing touches to do before Saturday. So we've got tuck pockets, we've got little opening doodah ding dong things there. Very technical term. Another pocket. I think this page we made together. So I've doubled up on that bottom slot and then made little things there. Got a little magnetic flap, which is the reverse TARDIS. So the outside is bigger than the inside. Another pocket. I've got all the tags and things to make, all the boring bits to do. Obviously got one of those. I think again we made this one together. So you've got the framed flap thing. This one was the one I made last week at Crafty Turn Crafters. So you've got zigzag pockets there, and you've got a deeper pocket there, which has got to be finished off. It's a good job I looked at that. And then the one we've done today, and then some more tuck pockets done like that. So it has still got to be finished off, but it's well on the way and it will be done by Saturday.